The story of My Girlfriend Being a Shobich starts with Haru mentioning the attractive qualities of his class representative, Akiho. Haru is a second-year high schooler and has never been in a relationship before. He plans to directly ask her outside the school. When Akiho arrives there, Haru's mind goes blank and he forgets the lines that he thought of saying to Akiho. So, he just lets it all out and asks Akiho to be his girlfriend. To his surprise, Akiho agrees to the proposal and says that it is her first relationship and she will do her best to be a good girlfriend by memorizing 48 different sex positions. Haru thinks that his first girlfriend is a bit of a strange person. Later, he smiles looking at Akiho's number when suddenly his childhood friend Shizuku hugs him from behind, saying that she wants to go home with him tonight. His sister Kanata arrives there as well and says that since he has no girlfriend, he should be grateful that two girls are willing to walk with him. The next day, Akiho approaches Haru in the class and asks about what kind of fetish he has as according to her. Having a girlfriend who can't comprehend her boyfriend's sexual desires causes dissatisfaction. Akiho fails to answer the question and just says that he likes the normal stuff. After the class, Haru offers to help Akiho carry some books. Akiho tries to speak in different ways in hopes to arouse Haru, but most of it comes out weird, which makes her think that she should try different phrases. Later, Haru brings some food to Akiho, who is listening to podcasts about men in hopes to find more topics that she can talk about with Haru. After the school is over, Haru asks Akiho to walk home together with him. Akiho blushes upon hearing it and agrees. The next day, Haru removes something from Akiho's hair, but she ends up getting excited as the ears are her weakest spot. She is about to tell another weak spot of hers to Haru, but he stops her before the words come out of her mouth. In class, Shizuku meets Haru and says that she found his lewd magazines again. Haru then introduces Akiho to Shizuku as her girlfriend. Hearing this, Shizuku wrongly tells a lot of events that Akiho interprets as something sexual. Afterward, the three go to take some sticker pictures together. Haru realizes that Shizuku is trying to help to get him close to Akiho. Later in school, Shizuku suggests that Haru and Akiho need to have a more intense relationship with each other. Akiho then invites Haru to the gym storage room. When Haru goes there, he winds Akiho in a weird outfit attempting to do something intense with Haru. She then placed some lewd magazines in Haru's bag only to pull them out and say that he can just do all of this stuff with her instead of looking at them. Afterward, as both were leaving the school, Akiho tries to hug Haru from behind but accidentally ends up on top of her. She apologizes to Haru for being an inexperienced girlfriend, but Haru tells her that she is doing her best, and that is enough for him. One day after school, Haru suggests taking shelter somewhere as it is running, but Akiho just wants to run home. She sees a girl holding his boyfriend under an umbrella and thinks of doing the same but fails to find the courage to do so. They both run home in the rain. At home, Kanata visits Haru's room as she wants to spend some time with him and says that her brother probably appreciates the presence of a cute sister. She then looks at his phone and sees him talking with Akiho in messages. She gets surprised to hear that Akiho is his girlfriend and thinks that her brother has matured now. Although she is jealous, she says he is free to have a girlfriend as long as he finds her more cute than her. Haru then receives a call from Akiho and makes Kanata go out of the room. Kanata eavesdrops on their conversation and thinks that they are talking about something lewd. The next day in school, Kanata secretly tries to look for Akiho in Haru's class but makes excuses when Haru finds her. However, Akiho comes from the hallway and greets Kanata. Kanata thinks that she is really pretty and ends up developing a sudden rivalry with her. She starts to sexually misinterpret the things she does with her in order to make Akiho jealous, just like Shizuku did. After their conversation, Haru sits with Akiho on the school's rooftop and clears the misunderstanding that Akiho got because of what Kanata said. Kanata arrives there as well and tries to take Haru away from her. Akiho accidentally falls on the floor because of this, which makes Kanata feel really sorry. However, Akiho says that it is fine and gives her something to eat as she wants to develop a better relationship with her. Haru feels happy that the two of them are getting along with each other. Afterward in class, Akiho tells the whole class that campus-wide cleanup week starts tomorrow. The next day, everyone is cleaning while Shizuku and Kanata are just goofing around. Later in the home, Akiho is watching a show where a girl brings a homemade lunchbox for her boyfriend, which makes him jump in joy. She tries to make a lunchbox herself but ends up making something demonic. Shizuku arrives at the scene as well with her beautiful-looking lunch. Akiho sees this and tells Shizuku to be her master. The three then go to Shizuku's house so Akiho can learn to cook from her. Akiho tries to help her with the food, but she fails to do most of the stuff properly. However, she overcomes her shortcomings and makes a really good beef stew for dinner with Shizuku. Haru tastes the beef stuff and gets surprised by how tasty it is. After they have eaten their dinner, Haru goes to drop Akiho at her house, but unfortunately, it is raining again. Akiho has an umbrella but doesn't mention it so she can stand with Haru under one umbrella. After some time, Akiho tells his father Natsuo that Haru will be coming to their home. Natsuo panics upon hearing that and thinks that her daughter has gotten big enough to invite her boyfriend home. As there isn't much at home to eat, she goes into the market to buy some stuff. Her mother Fayumi also prepares some stuff to entertain Haru. When Haru knocks on the bell, Fayumi opens the door. Haru thinks that Akiho has changed her appearance but soon realizes that it is her mother. Fayumi offers to entertain Haru until Akiho comes back from the shop. Haru thinks that she is probably gonna sit with him for tea and ask some questions, but Fayumi has adulterous things in mind. Fayumi, like most of the girls in this anime, is lecherous as well. Now you know where Akiho learned all of that stuff from. However, Haru declines her offer and they do sit for tea where Fayumi asks some really weird and lewd questions, like what his favorite position is or if has protective stuff on him. Natsuo sees the two sitting at the table and gets anxious to go meet Haru when Akiho isn't present. Meanwhile, Fayumi shows some childhood pictures of Akiho to Haru. In most of the pictures, she is reading back, but the content of those books change through the year. The scene then shifts to a flashback where Akiho is a child. The parents go through different experiences in raising their daughter. While Natsuo is normal, Fayumi is lecherous from the start and teaches Akiho all the lewd stuff to say throughout the years. She even thinks that Akiho might have the talent for all the lovey-dovey stuff. At the present, Akiho brings some oyakodon for everyone to eat, but her mother misinterprets it as oyakodon also refers to a certain adult act. Later, Akiho tells her parents that she will be going on her first date with Haru soon. Natsuo gives her normal suggestions, while Fayumi tells her to give her best and be thorough with every frisky thing they will do. Later, Akiho watches a show that shows that girls look more cute when they tilt their heads a bit. The next day when Haru arrives at Akiho's house to pick her up, Akiho greets him with her head tilted and he actually finds her cute. Throughout their date, whether they were watching a movie, riding the train, or eating something, Akiho is constantly looking at the frisky things happening around her and notes all of them so she can use them later with Haru. After their date is over, Akiho asks Haru about what he enjoyed with their date. Haru says that being with her is the only thing that mattered, which made Akiho realize that she was only devoted to her research during their date and didn't actually pay attention to Haru or had fun with him. She gave an expression that made her look like her soul was leaving her body. Haru thinks that he said something bad, so he tells her that they would see the cherry blossom next Sunday and the petals are going to fall soon. Some days after, Akiho faints as she couldn't sleep because of the excitement that she is going to watch cherry blossoms with Haru. Haru takes her to infirmary and teacher Ai, who is lecherous as well, thinks that they came here to do frisky things. She has to go do some work and leaves Haru to take care of Akira. While laying on the bed, Akiho continues to act frisky by intentionally spilling a drink on her body. Sometime later, Fayumi arrives to pick her up and takes her home. On Sunday, Haru receives a call from Akiho saying that she is alright now, so Haru goes to pick her up. However, when they go to see the cherry blossom, they realize that most of the petals have already fallen because of the extensive rain last week. Akiho gets all sad, so Haru tells her that they can always watch it again next year. Hearing this makes Akiho happy as Haru is willing to stay with her the next year as well. Rina, a rich girl with a noble family, gets transferred to Haru's school and will be staying at his class. She has 2 dogs and thinks of them as they are human beings. Everyone thinks that she looks really noble. However, the perspective of everyone changes when Rina introduces herself and says that she likes to be rough with hairy males. Hearing this, everyone except Akiho and Haru ran away from her. Rina asks them if licking dogs is that, which makes the two realize that she was talking about her dogs. They tell her to not mention the dogs as humans as it will cause misunderstanding. Rina mentions that she used to study in an all-girls school and had little to no interaction with boys. After knowing that they are a couple, Rina gets surprised as for her, seeing a male-female couple is rare. She wants to know about boys so she can deepen her friendship with them, so Akiho takes her to Miss Ai. Later in the cafeteria, Rina asks what dish she would like and mentions them in alphabets as A, B, or C, which makes Akiho think that she is asking about chest size. Later, Haru asks Rina about what music she likes and teaches her how to play some games. Afterward, Shizuku arrives as well and introduces her to Rina as Haru's mistress. After the school is over, Rina asks Akiho and Haru if it is okay for her to think of them as her friends. When they say yes, both Rina and Akiho get overjoyed as they just made new friends. The next day, Rina appears sad as her school friend ended her relationship with Rina. However, when she tells about this to Haru, she realizes that she was just misinterpreting her words. Later, the group along with Shizuku goes to the zoo. Akiho is well versed with the zoo as she used to come here often with her mothers who taught her about the ecology and dietary and mating habits of animals. Elsewhere, Fayumi and Natsuo think that Akiho must be having a good friend with her boyfriend, so they should go outside too. They end up going to the zoo themselves. For a while, there is nothing but sexual references by both Akiho's group and her parents. After spending some time at the zoo, Natsuo and Fayumi find a child that got separated from her parents. Natsuo thinks that the kid will be fine for now as Fayumi is with her, but suddenly starts to scream to call for her parents when Fayumi starts to tell her the mating habits of monkey. Afterward, Natsuo gets tired and has to rely on Fayumi to walk. He remembers a past date when both of them were young and Fayumi helped him walk that time too when he got tired. After their zoo trip is over, Rina and Shizuku go their separate ways and leave Akiho and Haru on their own so they can walk home together without any disturbance. The next day, Shizuku buys some cat ears for herself and Akiho, and they both show them off to Haru. Akiho gets frisky and starts to act like a real cat. Later, Shizuku is walking with Haru but suddenly goes away to the bathroom with Rina. Afterward, Rina tells everyone that her mother finally allowed her to get a cell phone. She tests it out by calling Akiho and they both talk about what color their undergarments are. She then asks Haru about how to take a selfie. Haru shows it to her and they both take a picture. Haru also shows her that can add filters to the picture. Rina runs out saying that she just took a facial picture with Haru, which shocks everyone that hears this. Haru then runs after her so he can make her clarify her statement. Later, Akiho finds Rina singing beautifully and asks her to teach her how to make nice sounds like that, so Rina takes her to that bathroom saying that she will make her say all kinds of nice sounds. Sometime later, Akiho tells Haru to not speak with her for some time as she wants to be a girlfriend and determine what Haru needs without saying it. For a little while, Akiho does everything for Haru, which makes him look like a bad person as everyone thinks that he is using his girlfriend. Soon, Rina and Shizuku get on the bandwagon as well, and all three of them try to guess what Haru is feeling at the moment, but they get it all wrong. After the school is over, Akiho tells Haru that she can't go home with him tonight as she has a class representative meeting to attend. In the meeting, Akiho makes some lewd suggestions on how to improve the school's environment, and insists that the students of this school need sex education as it is really important for everyone. The next day, Akiho is suffering from hiccups and they aren't going away. Haru tries different methods but none of them seem to work. They then go to the science prep room where Haru plans to make her sneeze so the hiccups go away. Shizuku is hiding in the closet as she wanted to scare both of them but accidentally gets out of it as she thought that they are doing something lewd. After Akiho sneezes, her hiccups go away, but Shizuku now has hiccups, so she tells Haru to somehow make them go away. Elsewhere in a supermarket, Kanata and her friend Misaki are buying snacks. Misaki, like the other girls of this anime, also tends to associate everyday occurrences with sex-related fantasies. She finds some protective thingies in the supermarket and thinks that they are some kind of chocolate that they eat. She takes 3 packets of it at the counter and bluntly says that she is gonna open and use all of them at school. While walking to school, Akiho and Haru come across a red-haired guy named Seiya that is extremely popular in school. Later in school, he sees Seiya with Akiho and thinks that maybe Akiho is betraying her. He tries to convince himself by saying that he is just friends and hugs Shizuku in order to make him believe that it is common for friends to be like this. However, he has enough of it and goes to the two to ask about what they are doing. Seiya tells him that he doesn't get a lot of male friends as he is really popular with the girls, so he was asking Akiha about how to be friends with Haru. When Haru sees that he will gladly be his friend, he starts to act all gay with him. Later in school, it is announced that a softball tournament is starting tomorrow. Haru tries to practice but realizes that he is pretty bad at everything. Seiya tells him that he is holding the bat too tightly. Later, Akiho sees Seiya helping Haru to hold the bat properly, but she thinks that they are doing something else and gets worried about it. Haru realizes that she is there but decides not to tell her what he is doing as he is becoming good at softball in order to be cool for her and surprise her. When his match finally happens, all the girls arrive to see him play, but Haru is unable to get a good hit at all. One ball accidentally hits Seiya's crotch, but he seems kind of excited instead of feeling some pain. Haru goes to examine him, which furthers the doubts in Akiha's mind about what they are doing. After the match is over, she discusses the situation with Seiya to Haru and learns that he was just practicing softball for her sake and gets really happy. In the school, a 2-day and 1-night camping trip is announced. During the last time, a lot of the students wandered away from the camping trip to do frisky stuff, so this time their PE teacher Amori is gathering all the students to warn them about. Akiho hands over some pages to the class and Haru in order to understand what outdoor activities can be done. However, Haru gives it a read and it is all about adult stuff. The scene then shifts to a room where the class representatives of different classes are together to discuss the camping trip. Sayori, the class representative of Class 5, tells everyone that they have decided to do a nighttime test of courage for their event. However, everything she says is misinterpreted by Shizu, who is yet another lecherous girl. During the trip, Haru accidentally hurts his finger, so Seiya tries to suck his fucker. However, Akiho can't let this happen in front of her eyes and sucks the finger herself. Afterward, all the girls start to drool over Seiya and even the animals arrive from the jungle to play with him. Back in the school, Shizuku accidentally hugs someone thinking that it is Haru, but then remembers that he went on a trip. Kanata feels lonely as well as his brother is gone, but gets happy when she gets a call from him. The feelings are the same for Akiho's parents. Natsuo even cries thinking that her daughter will marry someday and permanently leave them. Elsewhere at nighttime, Seiya tells Haru that he will be trying to scare him throughout this event in order to strengthen his relationship with him. Akiho thinks that he plans to do something lewd and stays closely with Haru during the nighttime test of courage event. As they were walking, Shizu tries to scare them but fails miserably. Sayori and the other class representatives try to scare them as well, but Sayori ends up getting scared herself. Afterward, Rina comes running towards Akiho and Haru as she got scared pretty badly by some fake ghosts. The three later encounter Seiya, who is swinging around the trees in order to scare them. His clothes get stuck in some branches and he lands his butt on Haru's face. At night, Haru takes Akiho outside after everyone has taken a bath. The way Haru is talking makes Akiho think that he is going to do frisky stuff with her. She gets excited about that, but her excitement is ruined when Haru tells her that he just found a spot with a nice view and wanted to go there with her. After the camping trips, a lot of couples are formed and they aren't able to control their urges in school. Sayori is irritated by all this and wants all of them to act like proper high schoolers. She sees a couple coming out of a classroom and the way they are talking makes her realize that they just had intercourse with each other. She goes inside the room and finds Shizu in a closet, who has been spying on the couple the whole time. Shizu quickly puts Sayori in the closet when Haru arrives there with her sister. Haru accidentally spills some milk on Kanata's face. Sayori and Shizu can only see their faces and think that they are doing something else. Haru tries to tell her that they were doing nothing and she is his sister, but Sayori just runs away thinking that he has those kinds of family relationships. She approaches him later and demands him to write a written apology. Haru then notices that her undergarments are exposed and tries to tell her indirectly, but Sayori misinterprets it and thinks that he wants to do lewd stuff with her. However, she realizes soon enough that Haru was trying to signal her to arrange her skirt and not reveal herself. She starts to think of him as good and they both go away holding hands with each other. The scene then shifts to Akiho, who forgot to wear undergarments to school. She is holding her skirt all the time so it won't get up because of the wind. Haru arrives soon enough and takes her to different places in order to spend more time with her. Shizu overhears their talks and decides to follow them. Akiho starts to think that Haru knows about her not wearing any undergarments and is purposefully doing all this. So, she tries to lift up her skirt in order to make him happy, but Haru refuses to look at her and tells her to lower her skirt. Shizu is disappointed by what just happened and is caught by Haru. She writes on a board that she wanted to see them naked. Later during the PE class, Rina gets stuck in some nets, so Haru and Akiho try to help her out. However, the three of them are locked in the storeroom accidentally. After a series of frisky events, the store door is opened by the school guards. One day, Haru is waiting for Akiho as they are supposed to go on a date, but she is nowhere to be seen. He calls her to ask about where she is. Akiho answers that her father accidentally hurt his lower back while being lovey-dovey with Fayumi, so now she has to take him to a doctor. When he puts down the phone, she is approached by Shizuku, who forcibly takes him shopping. She tries on different dresses and shows all of them to Haru. She even tells him to fix his bra hook, but later says that she was just pranking him. After shopping for clothes, the two go to a restaurant to have some food. Haru mentions that her food is always delicious and it makes him happy. Hearing this makes Shizuku turn all red. After they play a number of games, Shizuku invites Haru to her home as her parents aren't home. Haru immediately agrees, which makes Shizuku lose all her excitement as she expected him to resist a bit. When Haru reaches her room, Shizuku screams for help, so he rushes to her position only to find her in a pair of handcuffs around her arms and legs. Haru thinks that she just got robbed, but Shizuku tells him that she intended to handcuff herself with Haru but accidentally did it to herself and lost the key. She makes him do a lot of stuff as she is unable to do them herself, like taking her to pee and brushing her teeth after he feeds her some food. Taking advantage of this situation, she tells Haru to do lewd stuff, but Haru mostly refuses. He then Shizuku to her room. She remembers their time as a child when they comforted each other when they were crying. After she expresses how good of a friend Haru is, Haru tells her that it is time for them to look for the key. Shizuku shows Haru that she has intentionally put the key in her shorts and makes Haru get them. The next day in school, everyone is making some food in a cooking event. Akiho tries to make some good food for Haru but messes it all up as she is bad at cooking. Meanwhile, Seiya arrives and gets frisky with Haru, which makes Akiho so jealous that she doesn't realize the fire coming from her pan. She then self-hypnotizes herself so she can eat her food and think that it is delicious. She makes Rina take a bite as well. Rina says that it is delicious and goes away. Haru finds her trembling and struggling to even walk because of the taste, but tells him to keep it a secret from Akiha. However, Akiha somehow puts the pieces together when Rina faints away and confirms that Akiha's cooking caused all this. She tells Haru that she will make a good lunchbox for Haru. She is internally jealous that Shizuku can cook so well and wants to get the same compliments that Haru gives to Shizuku. Haru tells her that he is looking forward to eating her food. Akiho tells him that he can't eat it as he will get sick, but Haru replies that she will be there to take care of him if that happens. After some days, Haru and Akiho go on a date, but this time she is acting like a normal girl instead of a lust-hungry girl. However, Haru suddenly wakes up and realizes that it was all just a dream. Afterward, Haru is studying but fails to understand or grasp some concepts of mathematics. As there are only 3 days left for the exams, Haru wants to do his best in order to impress Akiho, who is really good at studies. However, Akiho is not the best teacher as she constantly implies adult references and teachings as well. He then asks Seiya to help, but he refuses. He comes down from the school's rooftop and sees a bunch of girls begging Rina to teach them as she gets good grades too. He then meets up with Kanata and her friend Misaki. Kanata wants Haru to teach her biology but mentions it in such a way that it seems wrong to Haru. Misaki, hearing this, also tells Haru to teach her as she doesn't get all of the lovey-dovey stuff as well. Later at home, Haru is helping Kanata with her studies. Kanata goes to get a book from the top shelf but fails to reach there because of her small height, so Haru lifts her up so she can grab the book. Kanata is really moved by this gesture and thinks that her brother takes so much care of her. The scene then shifts to Seiya, who goes to an ice cream shop and orders an ice cream. Misaki, who works there, tells him that he can get 2 for the price of 1 today. Seiya proudly says that he is used to holding 1 in each hand. After he goes away, Akiho arrives there and orders an ice cream so she can take lewd pictures whilst holding it. After Akiho, Haru goes to that ice cream shop as well and describes the order in such a way that Misaki thinks he is asking for some lewd stuff. She gets a panic attack as all of her customers are weird today. She starts to think perverted things but ends up getting another panic attack as she thinks that it is wrong. After the classes are over, Akiho finds Haru sleeping on his chair. She tries to wake him up by saying lewd stuff but gives up and sleeps on a chair herself when he doesn't wake. Haru suddenly wakes up and says that he is not a lowly pedo. He finds Akiho sleeping and pats her head only to realize that she has been awake all along. Afterward, Haru apologizes for touching her without her permission, but Akiho doesn't mind it at all. She says that she almost patted him too and asks if she is allowed to do so. When Haru says that she can do it, she approaches him like she is going for a kiss, but pats her head instead. The next day, there is a school-wide sketching day happening in a forest. Haru is sitting with Seiya, who is constantly making adult references, so Akiho arrives and takes his place instead. Haru then sees Shizuku sketching Rina and starts to sketch her too. Rina's skirt accidentally lifts because of a gust of wind, but Haru couldn't get a good look at it and asks her if he can look at it more carefully as he wants to get the features right. When Shizuku tells her that it is inappropriate, he tells Shizuku to switch places with Rina as it is normal for her to do stuff like this. He then asks Akiho if he can sketch her, to which she happily agrees. He remembers all the good memories he has made with Akiho throughout this year and says "I love you" to her out of nowhere. Akiho gets really embarrassed and asks for a few seconds so she can fix herself. Haru then thanks her for everything she has done for him. Akiho replies the same and says "I love you" back to her. The two then hold each other's hands and internally think that they want to be together forever. That's all for today. How do you think the story of My Girlfriend is Shabich proceeds from this point? Let us know in the comments down below. Do leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing content.